On the previous video, I showed you how to use KTL and reload the last values, and that's great for speeding up data entry. And one of the other things that I like to do, and it isn't a native feature in Knack, is to be able to set the focus automatically when the form loads. And what I mean by that is if I close this modal pop-up, when I click Add Client, I now need to go to my mouse and actually click into here to get my cursor inside the first name field. Now, when you're doing data entry, it's often good to set the focus into a particular field so you can start typing straight away. And then you can use the Tab key to be able to move around your fields and not have to keep coming back to the mouse. Now, I've never actually found a way to provide a piece of code that would cover all fields, and I'm not a coder, so I'm sure there's a much cleaner way of doing this. But I'll share a piece of code with you that I used and I adapt using AI, using Google Gemini, to get it to go to particular fields. And what you need to do first of all is right click on the field and just go to inspect. And I found this is the easiest way to do it. This shows you the elements inside the document object model. And you can see as I hover over the different text strings here, it will highlight the inputs. So this is the input. So if I go back to here and right click, say inspect, it shows me this is the that element. So if I right click on there, I can say copy and copy this element. And just to show you what it looks like, I'm just going to paste it in here. And this pretty much, as far as I can see, gives me everything I need to ask AI to make sure it targets the field in the correct place. Now, with a client name, it has two components to it. It has a first and a last. And similarly, an address field has street, street to, city, state, and zip. And you can target each of those individually. More standard fields like a phone field or a notes field are very straightforward. So let me just go back into the code section. I'm just going to unhide this code. Now, as you can see on this particular code, it's talking about view 204 first, which is the first name field. And this is set up so it works when the view renders and also when the form is submitted. So I've saved this already. I'm just going to come back, close this all down and do a quick refresh and show you how it works. So when I click add a client, it will now set the focus straight into the first name field. So I don't have to move the mouse. I could do Ted Smith. I think that's my only mandatory field. I would fill the rest of my fields in. I come through to the end and hit submit, and the form refreshes and it sets the focus again back to the client name first name field. So it sets it when the form opens on render, and it also sets it when the form has been submitted. So that's pretty easy, and I can obviously put a link to the code in the description, and you can get it off my website. So the things you need to do to target different fields is, first of all, determine what view you're on. Now, I use KTL's dev info pop-up, which if you hold down the Control and Shift keys, it will show you information about what scene you're on and what view you're on. And I did a video on this quite some time ago, so I'll put a link in the top right hand corner so you can check out how to set up the dev info. But even if you don't know how to do that, you can do it from the builder. So here inside the tree structure, this is my form that adds a client. You can simply click on it and it will show you at the top here, this is view 204. And then you'd need to go into your data table and turn on the labels to be able to see what the field ID is. So for instance, the field name for the client is field number 1. So if I wanted to target something like the email address field, that's field number 3. I'm going to come back to here and I'm going to use KTL to do that. So Control and Shift, and if I hover over this field, I can see this is field number 3 on view 204. So I'm going to go back into my code, and I'm going to use that code as a basis to ask AI another question. So let me just copy that. And I've been using Google Gemini because that seems to work quite well. So I'm going to say, can you adapt this code to set the focus on the email field? And I've already forgotten what the email field was. Field 3. Field underscore 3 on the same view, and I'm just going to paste that code in underneath and hit return, and it will do its magic. So to target the email field, instead of the first name field, we simply need to update the selector to look for the field ID, field 3. So you can see down here now it just says view 204 field 3 and then hashtag field 3. So not being a coder, that's about as much as I know, so I'm going to copy that and highlight my old code, paste that over, hit save, and just come back and close this. I'm just going to do a refresh on my live app, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this should work. So add a client, and there you go, you can see it sets the cursor insertion point straight into the email field, and that would work on submit and also on render when it opens first of all, and also then resets it again. So as you can see here, it sets it on the view render, and it also sets it on the form submit. So where it starts to get a bit more complex is when you want to target one of the fields inside an address field. So let's have a look at what's called postal code, because I'm in the UK, but that'll be a zip for United States. So right click on it, click inspect, and then I'm going to simply copy that element, and let's have a look at that particular element. So paste that in. So it's the input class is zip and the name is zip. So I'm just going to use that selector and ask it again to say, can you update so I target the zip field in the address, and the field is field, what number are we? It's field 7. So that would be the same as obviously coming back to here and looking for my address. So here is field 7. So I'm going to say, can you update so I target the zip field in the address, and the field is field _7. Let's see what that does. So to target the zip postcode field, the address component, we need to look for the element with the ID zip. The next address field, while the street input is often just ID street, the zip field follows the same pattern, so we'll scope it to make sure we aren't hitting the zip field in a different address block. Okay, so let's just copy that and back to API code, JavaScript, paste. Okay, so we've got zip, view 204, zip, and the name is zip. So back to the live app, I've done a refresh, add client, and you can now see the insertion is already put straight into the zip. So you can target any field, super easy, right click on it, inspect, and then when the document object model pops up, look at the elements, then right click and copy the element, and then I'm just literally pasting that into Google Gemini, telling it what the field input number is. So in this case it will be field 6, and just letting it do its magic. So this used to be a really easy thing to do back in the days of Microsoft Access, which is where I come from, a legacy classic guy. You could just do set.focus and tell it was the phone field, and it will set the focus here. A bit more complicated with web software, but hopefully that workaround may be useful to some people when you're trying to do quicker data entry. So combining that with the reload last values, it does speed up your data entry. I appreciate there may be a coder out there that can give us some code that's more universal and easier to update. I tried to create something which was updatable, but it never seemed to work, so I just kept copying the selector and asking Gemini to update this code block so that it works, and it seems to work consistently using this method. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, get some value from it. If you did, give us a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next one.